Um, what? I'm trying. Hey, can you guys hear me? I can't get the. I don't know why my. Okay, well, I'm trying to get my camera to work, but obviously I'm too stupid at this. But type your questions while I try to get the camera to work. I apologize. What the heck? Oh man. All right. Keep talking though. Oh, I can start, or I can sing that song I tried to sing yesterday. I don't know why. Okay, Matt Welch should know when we tried to do our YouTubes for Paloma Media, we always had troubles. I scheduled this. I don't know why the camera is not working. Maybe someone knows more about this. Then, yeah, Matt is feeling better, which is cool. You should just start typing me your questions, and I will try to be figuring out the camera. Maybe we're gonna do it out of camera, but I think it'd be better to do it with a camera, right? Sing the song. I'm not going to sing the song. It was an old crazy song I hadn't heard in 30 years. For some, it popped into my head. Um, okay, I don't. You can't hear him right now, but about 5 minutes ago, man, the sound from downtown was incredible. The explosions. Um, you might be able to hear them. We've had a lot of cop cars. Obviously, we've had a lot of stuff going on. I really would like to get this camera going, but I guess I'm too stupid to do that. If someone knows about this more than I do, let me know. Yeah, so I wrote a piece today, my first dispatch for Reason, about the protests here in. Okay, I am where right now? How far away from the lawless riots? Thank you for the question, Matt Welch. I am in Echo Park right now. So I'm about 3 miles from downtown, straight shot sort of down Sunset. I was there yesterday before things got super hot. The piece that I put on Reason today was basically about how these protests go. They are pretty peaceful during the day. I don't know if you can hear that. Can you hear this in the background? Can you hear the sirens and the explosions? Let me know if you can. I'm going to be quiet for a second. Yeah, of course. Well, it didn't do it. Okay. Well, the sirens are going pretty crazy. So usually what happens, it's pretty peaceful during the day. Yesterday it definitely was. And then at night, of course, the same thing happens. It's truly the same thing at almost every protest I've been to. You've got the people there during the day who are actually trying to be pretty peaceful. They're maybe trying to make some inroads, whether it's grassroots, they're trying to help each other out. They're saying like, everybody stay calm, take care of each other. They're passing out energy bars and water. And then around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or whenever it gets dark, or when the police, which is what happens a lot, the police decide to bust a move. Usually, I have to tell you, I almost feel bad for the law enforcement sometimes because they stand there for hours like statues. They don't do anything while the protesters chant and sometimes yell at them, kill yourself, blah, 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 blah. And then it's obviously coordinated. They decide it's time for the protesters to move on. It's like we're gonna say it's a unlawful assembly, or if it's a riot, and then shit starts going down. It happened yesterday. There were a lot of flashbangs. There was some gas, I think, or a lot of smoke at least, and a lot of rubber bullets. And then of course you've got the night crew. They come in and they're the ones that it got cut out of my piece today, but they're the ones that are there to fuck shit up. They like it. That's what they came for. They don't give two shits about immigrant rights. They don't care about BLM. I mean, in my estimation, they care about getting their fix, their sort of energy fix. So that's what's actually going on downtown right now. It's 7:30. This started late afternoon. I think we're going to see a lot of violence tonight. I'm actually not going to go down tonight. I will be down there on Thursday, and I'm definitely going to be there on on Saturday, which is the 14th, which is Trump's birthday. As many of you know, he's called in, I don't know, someone knows it, thousands of tanks that are going to pass by the White House as he waves like dear leader, or just hundreds, your taxpayer dollars at work. But there's going to be an anti-Trump birthday party here on Saturday. So I will definitely be getting in the mix there. But tonight, I'm going to chill and write and answer your questions. So bring them. And I'm really sorry I can't get the camera to work. I don't know what to say. I'm just not too great at this yet. Come on, guys. Questions. I hope people are still here. Okay, Sarah Hepla, what am I wearing? I'm actually not wearing anything. That's why I'm actually just kidding. I can't get the camera to work because I'm not wearing that. No, I'm wearing a little sleeveless denim shirt and a skirt. Sorry. And boots, because you should kind of wear boots when you go to these things because you get stepped on. I got kind of run over yesterday, as some of you here know. As soon as the police started to, so what happened, we were in front of the, I did not, okay, so Matt is asking me, so when I was leaving New York the other day, I was told by a friend of mine here in LA, I was going to say Portland because I've covered so much in Portland, really great photographer named Ted Sokwe. He's like, you better bring a helmet. So Matt's wonderful, beautiful, one of my favorite people, daughter, 10-year-old Coco, lent me her bike helmet, which right on the front, it says nutcase. No, I didn't bring it yesterday, but I definitely will bring it on Thursday. Kelly Flat asks, are the protests in different areas or are they in one general area? Well, that's a really good question, Kelly. So they were in several different areas the other day, including in Paramount, where the Home Depot ICE agents had gone in and arrested a lot of people. One thing we've talked about, which could be in LA's favor, in air quotes, is, it's really, really spread out. It's not like Portland, where you had the federal building and the cop shop down there downtown to gather around. And that's where it was the nexus. That's where everybody went every night. But what are they doing? Which makes sense. The protests are happening downtown in front of the ICE building, ICE headquarters, and various places downtown. A lot of things are taped off. I was down there today at City Hall. So right now, I think it is there. Will it move around? Maybe. I don't know. I think we'll probably see some different spots on Saturday. But I think for right now, it's going to be basically downtown. What was I going to say? Oh, yesterday. So what happened was, Sarah Hepla says, tell me who you're meeting. Are there actual immigrants there by day? The smash up crew by night? Yeah. Okay. So there were all kinds of people at the daytime protests. You had a lot of students. You had a lot of immigrants. You had grandmothers. You had people with kids. You had the people in their cars, blasting "fuck the police." You had kids on dirt bikes. You had jugglers. You had boomers. You had a lot of people really, really pretty calm. Let's take a wild guess and guess who the nighttime crew are. They're young dudes, mostly. They're young dudes. Are they Antifa? Not like you saw in Portland. There's not that kind of unification, which makes sense because LA is a lot more diverse, for lack of a better word. But they're all young, as my ex used to say, young, dumb, and full of calm. They want to get out there. They want to fuck shit up. They're getting the cameras on them. And, one of the issues with that is that then that's the story that makes the news. Like, nobody really wants to stand in front of the ICE headquarters and watch people just like yelling like, be nice to immigrants. So we get this message that it's all violent. Well, I think it is going to be pretty violent for about, I'm going to say, through the weekend. I think it'll peter out. One reason is because these things lose steam. And two, man, the presence here is insane. You've got the LAPD. You've got the National Guard. Apparently the Marines have been called in. I don't know a whole lot about that. You have, that I got on good authority from someone I know who works with Border Patrol. You've got Border Patrol. There's a lot of law enforcement here, which of course is delightful for the protesters because that gives them someone to yell at. But also I think it might keep the peace. I don't know. I mean, we're going to have to see. I will tell you that yesterday at the peaceful protest, when they, like, this shimmy went through the crowd, it's like, they're going to call a riot. It was actually an unlawful gathering that they called. But as soon as they said that, the peaceful protesters dipped. Like 80% of them dipped. And who stayed? The ones that want to fuck shit up, and that's what they did. So I think I'm. What is the National Guard doing? Krisha asks. Well, we're standing on the ice steps yesterday. Really weirdly, I have a picture of it. They were standing there holding signs in front of their chest that said National Guard. It's like, oh, well, thank you for being so helpful. I'm not really sure why they did that, but they literally, all law enforcement, they stood like statues for about 3 hours, and then they bust a move, and they kind of all move in unison. Mike is asking, are the Marines doing anything, or have you talked to anyone about the Marines? Mike, I really haven't. I haven't done that today. I know that the city council meeting I was at today, which was a trip. I'm going to be writing about that. They're not happy about that. There's not a lot that they can do. They had a lot of really angry people there today, like saying, what are you going to do to keep the Marines out? What are you going to do to keep Trump from doing what he's doing? They're like, we have only so much power to do certain things. The power I think that they have that I see is letting people yell at them for hours at a time. But we'll hear more about that when I get to that. So what was I going to say about yesterday? Oh, so when the cops busted a move, they kind of kettle you. They had us sort of locked in on this one block. So we was kind of like a box canyon. And as soon as they start pushing, they didn't really run, but they started pushing and they started shooting rubber bullets and flashbangs. I actually went down and kind of smushed up my back a little bit, but I was fine. But that's why you wear boots to these things, because you get stepped down a lot. Mike says it's all very odd. I don't know if it's odd. I think it's very coordinated. I think this is exactly what Trump and his crew and Stephen Miller. There were a lot of signs yesterday at the protest saying "fuck Stephen Miller," and I have to say, I saw at least, I don't know, 4 dozen graffiti saying "fuck Trump." Watched some kids doing it. I think this is what Trump said he was going to do. Matt Welch has a really good piece today on Reason about sort of its 2020 redo, but 2025, and now they're going to get their way. Fuck what happened in 2020 when all the wokesters and there was a different administration in that tolerated this stuff. I think there was a number in there that said they want to start. Matt, you can correct me. They want to take it from 300 people a week being deported to 3,000. I don't remember what it was. They're doing exactly what they said they're going to do, and they're doing it, I think, from what we've seen, pretty unlawfully. They're just, there's no warrants when they run into these places. They don't run in and say, okay, we are here for, John Smith, Jose Garcia, and Nancy Rommelman. They just bust in and people start scrambling and they just pull them. That's not lawful. That's not the way you're supposed to do that. I talked to someone yesterday who works at, so Matt says 300 a day to 3,000. Last Tuesday, when this all started, was a new record of 2,200 people being arrested. That's a lot of people, man. And absolutely, for people that are behind Trump's plan to do this, they love it. This is what they need to do. Why do they need to do this? Well, because these are the bad people, right? They've been demonized. There are rapists. They're the, coming over the border, which is it's just so nonsensical to paint people with this brush, but that's what you have to do to get people behind you, to get people behind your plans. But anyway, Mike, it's all very odd. I think it's exactly what they said they're going to do. And they're doing it in a very visible way. They're getting people very upset. When people are upset, they make terrible decisions or they make no decisions. And we see this kind of violence in the street. Mike was saying, I was specifically talking about the Marines, but I agree. Mike, I'm really sorry. I will know more about the Marines tomorrow, and specifically because you're asking me about it. I just didn't find out a lot about it today. Sarah Hepala says, is there any property destruction or is just throwing rocks? Oh, no, there is. No, because this is what happens. They're looting. They looted the Apple store last night, and I saw a video which was kind of funny. Apparently, when you steal phones from the Apple store now, the phones go, oh, hey, we've been stolen. Please return us. And they all started blaring at the same time. No, Mike says, I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, Mike. I'm glad for your questions. It helps me learn. Yeah, so no, there's looting. There's going to be more looting. It's like peanut butter and chocolate. It just goes hand in hand, and people got a ton of energy they have to expend, and they love the chase. I have seen this so many times in Portland, how absolutely delicious the protesters find being chased around by cops. Rioters, Norm says rioters demand justice and iPhones. Yeah, I put this in my piece today. I do not believe, and I'm really sorry I couldn't get the video to work. I'm gonna do a better job next time, guys. Hold on a second. Matt is asking, I was not downtown when Karen Bass announced the downtown curfew for tonight. I'm way behind. You guys, I've been writing all day and hanging out and doing different things. So you guys are way ahead of me. Sarah says the scenes of the iPhones all going off at once was amazing. Matt, and yes, I will work harder, Matt. I will work harder. But I was going to say about the demanding justice. I believe that there are absolutely, when these things happen in this country, whether it's BLM or now or our immigrants being arrested, you definitely have people that are out in the streets working to change things, to make things better. I do not believe that the people that are busting shit up, that's what they're there for. They are there, whatever the mission du jour is, that's what they're going to say they're there for, but they're not there for that. They're there for the thrill. They're there for the rush. And I don't think that's ever going to change. And I think, bringing the full force of the law down on them only makes them work harder to mess things up. But let's see. I mean, what would happen if you ignored them? They wouldn't riot as hard as you if you ignored them. Anyway, I haven't seen, it hasn't been super terrible here. It hasn't been 1992. I was here in 1992 and it was extremely bad. Okay, I'm going to see if you can hear this now. I'm going to be quiet for a second. You should be able to hear sirens and helicopters and then booms in the background. I don't know what the booms are, but they're pretty loud. Yeah, now. Okay, forget it. So Sarah's asking, does it feel to anyone else that more people just need a job? Yeah, I mean, when you have things you need to do, when you've got maybe kids to take care of or a job you need to show up at, you're not going to spend quite as much time probably, busting out cop car windows because you care about the consequences. Of course, consequences are another thing that we have seen in these riots where there are no consequences, right? I mean, we had that in Portland, certainly, of the I'm going to get my numbers a little wrong, but it's something like of the 1,089 people that were arrested during the protests, fewer than 100 of them were prosecuted. I think way fewer. It may have been in the double digits because we don't want to. The definition of free speech becomes extremely elastic, where breaking windows is free speech if you're in an environment, as we were in Portland in 2020, where you were on the protester sides. So we know that story. That's an old story at this point. I don't know that you have. I think the Portland city government and the state government, they've done a lot of things wrong, but I haven't heard any of them. I've heard them being against what Trump is doing and against bringing various law enforcement here. They are not supporting the protesters. I have not heard that yet. I didn't hear it at the city council. I haven't heard it from Karen Bass. You're supporting the immigrants, but you're not supporting people messing things up. Also, when you're paying attention to the people who are demanding all the attention for all the mayhem they're producing, you're actually not addressing the problem. You don't have time to address the problem. Matt said, did the daytime energy crew bar talk shit about the window smashing night shift? Well, not exactly. They kind of tried to stay on focus. They were over and over and over saying, keep it peaceful, people, keep it peaceful, people. Now, I will tell you, it almost was like watching a sunset. Everything's happening here, and then all of a sudden it's dripping into the next part of the day. And as that happened, more people started showing up. There was like a young guy with his GoPro. He's like, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. Like, he was there, very vocally for the mayhem. And I saw him later filming himself on a YouTube, like, wow, look at what's going on. He knew what was going to happen. That's what he was there for. Yeah. So I'm sure you do hear people being like, and I saw this in Portland, like, stop messing things up. You're making it worse for everybody. This has no effect on them. This has no effect on people that want to mess things up. They're not interested in your cause. They're interested in being out there and having what it feels like to be in the street. I thought when I was in Portland, I thought a lot of it, I I was wrong about this. I thought a lot of it was because, it was the pandemic, they couldn't leave the house, they couldn't go get laid, they couldn't go to a bar, and now it was like an opportunity to be in the streets and also save the world. I don't think it was that. I think it's just the rush of being in the street because they're able to go out in LA now and they're just messing the same stuff up. I don't know. Does anybody here know the numbers that we're seeing in the street? I saw about 800 peaceful protesters yesterday in the crowd I was in, and then at night it only looked like a few hundred. There were people marching, but they weren't marauding. It wasn't like bands of thousands marauding and looting. Does anybody know those numbers? Are there any numbers? Matt, I still can't get over 3,000 people a day. They want to get out of this country. Top line number from the feds has been like 2,000 combined. Okay. All right. I guess that makes sense. There were marchers last night that were pretty peaceful. 3,000 arrests. Wow. That's a lot. Well, okay. So that's reflecting how much law enforcement we have on the street. I mean, think about that. That's a lot of people at Paramount and downtown. Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious. We did have a lot of action sort of south of LA. And I don't know that we're going to see it again. I think I'm gonna be sticking up here, unless something changes. I mean, obviously they're still doing the arrests, right? It's and what's sort of crazy about that? They're still doing the arrests, so those arrests are sort of masked by the fact that there's mayhem. So, Santa Ana will be popping off. Maybe I'll head down there. Ben Price is going to hang with me, so he'll be my muscle. He was my first muscle in 2019. We can do a redo here. So, anything else happening in the world? I would have no idea. That's Gustavo. So Gustavo Arellano, who is an indefatigable writer and a great observer of Los Angeles, and he's at the LA Times, and he's a dear old friend of Matt's and a friend of mine. You should be following him if you're not on Twitter. He's posting probably 6 stories a day because that's what he does, and he's just a great eye on what's going on. I will say, you always know as a journalist that you're striking a nerve when people from like in air quotes, the other side start coming at you. And boy, I have the MAGA people mad at me for saying that Los Angeles is a wonderful place. Ooh, they do not like that. They just want to put me in my place for being a woke whatever. Say indefatigable again. There you go. You just want me to say SWAT sticker. I know you do, Sarah. Yeah, God, it's loud. It's loud. I might have to get out there later. We'll see. Anything else I can inform you about the way we protest now? Oh, well. Well, again, I'm really sorry about the camera. It should be easy. Tacos, margaritas. I would love to have some tacos and margaritas. Please get over here and have some with me. No, I have some takeout Thai food that I'm gonna dip into and probably just chill tonight. We'll see. Maybe I'll get off my butt and get downtown, but it's a lot. So ice rated meat packing plants in Omaha this morning, says Mike. They raided here. What did I hear about today? I heard car washes, a library. The community college in Cerritos shut down because they were afraid. I've gotten pushback on the story I wrote today about a private business in Santa Monica who had some, I guess, undocumented or people that were here without papers working there, and they asked their boss what to do, and the boss is like, you know what, it's a private business. I'm not going to let them come in here. And then if they needed to, they could hide in the basement. Ooh, people are not happy about that. They're like, he should go to jail, that employer. And can you explain to me how someone would do that? And I was like, yeah, because they consider the employees human beings. And I'm sorry you don't understand that. Yeah. So, well, I guess that's it. I'm gonna go eat my dinner unless you have another question. I'm gonna stay on the story for you. I'm gonna try to cover some slightly different angles than maybe a lot of people are doing. You can certainly get your violence fix over there on Twitter or wherever you get your news. Matt, thank you for thanking me for my service. And guys, thank you for being here. And if you're not already a subscriber over here, just click it. It's free. We're going to put some good stuff up there. Thank you to my ringers, Sarah and Matt, for showing up. I appreciate it. And thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Maybe even with video. Okay, bye.